Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Lifestyle Architecture Lab. In this show, I talk about lifestyle design, financial freedom, and also dissect the process, behavior, and routines of the personalities who have designed a lifestyle of freedom for themselves. These guests range from artists, musicians, entrepreneurs, lifestyle coaches, investors, professional athletes, etc. These conversations dig deep into their stories to find out their thought process, tools, strategies, and tricks that makes them tick.
This is happening.
Let me just do what I love to.
No 9 to 5.
Eat that frog. You gotta work hard.
Risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. This is Lifestyle Architecture Lab, and I'm your host Himanshu Sachdeva.
In this episode, I'm talking to Bijay Nair, who is a former Lieutenant Commander of Navy. He's also a blogger, an author. He has written a book named They Inspire. He's also an endurance runner and a corporate professional post his retirement from defense services. In this episode, we talk about his story, how he got into defense services despite all the financial and other difficulties in initial days, his naval academic days, and some stories from his active service duty times. At some places in this conversation, I literally got goosebumps listening about the armed forces and the sacrifices they make for the nation. We also talk about how he got introduced to running due to his health condition and how it changed his life. He's doing the Comrades Marathon this year in June and training hard for it at the moment. He's a great example of turning your passion into reality. So without further ado, please enjoy this conversation with Bijay Nair. Hey Bijay, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Himanshu. Great to, see you after long and having me on your show.
I was really looking forward to this conversation with you, and it's great to have you on the show. I've known you since past 3 to 4 years now, as you are one of the influencers in the Bombay running community. We met a couple of times before, but very briefly on a few running events. Usually we meet at Autism Run, which is held by Sayuri.
True.
Yeah, so, but I got curious to know more about you when you started the series on Facebook, which was called They Inspire.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which is an ongoing profile series for the common runners and their stories. Finally, it is published as a book as well with the same name. You also publish a lot of humor and sarcasm infused posts on Facebook, and the engagement level with the audience is really high and amazing. You wear a lot of hats as an author, a blogger, a passionate runner, an ex-naval officer, a corporate professional now, a husband, a father, and a lot more. So you have created a lifestyle for yourself which is really amazing and astonishing. I have a good number of questions for you today to ask you. Can you please start off by telling us about your initial days and the time of struggle?
First of all, thanks, Himanshu. I've been knowing you for 3-4 years. As you said, we would not have met pretty often, but whenever we have seen each other, we do have waved and said hi.
Yeah.
So, as you said, you have been following my series, They Inspire, which is now a bestseller in CrossFit from last 2 years. I'm glad to be in this arena of and wearing, as you said, multiple hats. And that's what keeps your life ticking and moving on. To tell you more about me, as I would say, the very apt title from my initial days of growing would be Gully Boy,
Wow.
So when I say Gully Boy, as you're aware, today I do live in a pretty decent and one of the most upmost societies of Bombay, in Mulund. Life was not that hunky dory when things started for us. Three siblings, and my dad being a technical worker himself, and he was a communist leader, he was a union leader, so life was pretty tough. And he believed in content living, whatever you have, you live, and there was no ambition to him. So our life was struggle, we as I said, I lived in a chawl in Bhando, and had made a lot of friends, had seen the best of days, being staying in a one room kitchen or sort of thing, 1+1 what you call. But those were the beautiful days, no doubt, because that life really taught us how to live, within your limits. And I made best of the friends there, have pretty close friends there. Even today I go back to that place pretty often. And mom has been a great support because, as you said, someone has to be there to uplift you.
Yeah.
And to us, all three of siblings, of course, dad never interfered in our things. He wanted us to be educated, but I would say mom played a huge role to mold us. And her one thing was education, because she believed that education is one thing which will uplift you. So there was no compromise on education as far as all three of us were concerned. And trust me, even when I joined Navy, later when I'll speak more about it, still a couple of years we used to live in Chawl. And though in spite of having a house in, that time I booked a house in Mulund, still we went back. And absolutely there is no regret, because life, all the teachings of life have come through there.
It was a happy place for you.
It was a happy place, like when my dad and mom, of course, mom has adjusted to this life. My dad still misses those times when, because Chawl and all, it used to be an open door policy, what we call.
Right.
Everyone used to be there, and we three being boys, so our house was like open house for
Like a
everyone.
community,
Like
right?
a community. Today, when we live in a huge complexes and all, it's more of a closed door, gated community. That's what my dad say.
Right.
But of course, as I say, you have to uplift yourself whenever the opportunity permits. And only thing what I want my daughter is to learn that being humble, understanding the things, having the value of money and everything. So I do take her pretty often to place where I used to live. So that's what was the challenges in growing up. But that was a beautiful challenge. As I said, academics, there was no compromise on academics. All of us were good at studies, and probably even after joining Navy, I took my academics. I did my graduation, post-graduation, and a double MBA, everything during my phase in Navy, and and post-Navy also. I do keep still, even today I do some of the small courses, maybe a diploma, and wherever the opportunity.
Keep learning.
Keep learning, learning never ends.
Right.
And learning
That's
is
true.
the only thing, as APJ Kalam said, which will uplift you. Even at that age, he used to study. So definitely.
Going forward towards your naval academic days, first of all, how did you learn about Navy, and then eventually you got the job there?
So we are three siblings. I'm the eldest. My brother, second brother, he's also a marathon runner. He's doing very well in his life. He's 2 years younger to me, and the youngest one is pretty young. He's like 12 years gap. So always honors and being that role model lied on me, being the eldest. I was from a very small school, though it was from an English medium school, but it was run by a Malayali trust school, and my father being pretty active over there. So though it's English school, and when you happen to stay in a very a locality where most of the people are workers and other thing, so you hardly used to get chance to speak in English. So I still remember the incident, when I went to my 11th grade and 12th grade, and as you know, like you are into your teenage, and the first time I proposed a girl was, saying her that you look handsome. So that was my English. And then, today I authored a bestseller, and a couple of books are in pipeline. I blog, I speak, and I speak in English. So looking back, I always used to wonder, what life would be. But
It came a full circle.
it came a full circle, and everything is belief, everything is that self-confidence wherever you go, and a lot of reading. I do a lot of reading.
Yeah.
So any articles and things like that, which is bound to improve your language. Even today, when I speak in a public forum, I do struggle for words. Which even when I blog today, my daughter do correct me for my grammars. But that's life.
And I think if you want to write, you need to read a lot more before
Obviously,
writing.
to be a good blogger, to be a good writer, even when you are a situational writer, you need to read. You need to read. Need to know the pretty current things on which you need to blog and things like that. So that was the good days till standard 10th. Like I was always into sports and other thing, and then sudden shock came. I was average student, but then my dad wished that if I come in first three in school, he will give me, I think, a cycle or a bike or something. He said that time, and that was a motivation to study hard. To be very frank. And then luck would have it been, I did well in school, and I was, though I was among the first three, that came as a shock to everybody. But then that's life, like I had a good percentage then. And then I moved to a junior college, 11th and 12th grade. So I met my wife now, Mala, in my junior college days. Her brother was my classmate. And we happen to be a good friend, and like all those stories. She is still, we're married for close to 15 years now. Still, we don't have that husband-wife feeling. We still have that friend which we used to be.
Friend feeling.
Yeah, friend feeling. And then I used to go to her home, and my brother-in-law always says, "Sala ghar pe aake chura ke leke gaya hai." But frankly, and I always tell her, "See how lucky you are. You are dating me, and then you married me." And she reverses back, vice versa. So we keep on. So that keeps us going on, and we have
It's a
a
good
daughter.
relationship.
Yeah, it's a good relationship.
With
We
laughs.
have a daughter, 13 years old now.
Wow.
So going back, as I said, life was a struggle even in 11th and 12th. As you know, everyone would go for classes and all for science. I was in the science grade, but I couldn't afford a good class because dad didn't have money that time. So only option was to do self-study in 12th standard and some support from my a sir who was teaching us in 10th standard. Still, I did well in 12th, and then
Perks of being a good student.
perks of being a good student, and probably all friends helping with notes and all. And then happened to chance upon engineering. Why I say chance upon? Because it was the last day for filling the form, and to be very frank, that the fees was 4,000 rupees annually, and we didn't have fees to pay 4,000 rupees. So dad was like, "How will we afford?" But then mom was very adamant, "No, you have to, since you are good student and you had required percentage, money will come." So that's how I enrolled into engineering, and then 4 years of engineering in hostel, 2 years of day scholar and 2 years of hostel. And I was the general secretary in my college, was good at sports, and so many things happened. That is where the first inclination towards public speaking happened, when I started going on stage.
It was in college itself.
The first thing came when I was the first general secretary of my college. That was the first time when you happen to speak to people on stage. So across your 12th standard and engineering, you were. I was adjudged the best personality in my college, We have a festival in engineering college called Spring Fiesta. I was Mr. Spring Fiesta for that year, and then and then chance happened that uh, the only thing was engineering. You have to clear your last fourth semester during our time with first class. I did have 80 KTs and other thing, but the last 4 semesters I really worked hard, and I was third in my college, engineering college, and then I was adjudged the best engineering student in year 1998.
98.
98, 94 to 98. So journey was pretty good. And then I chanced upon one of my friend, like he had a cutting of service selection board for Navy. He wanted to join, but then his parents were pretty conservative and they didn't allow him. And he just happened to show it to me, like you have all the inclination. And then I always used to tell my goal was pretty clear. I was very, very clear that I wanted to join armed forces. And,
From initial days itself.
Initial days itself. I was pretty attracted toward whites, first of all. And then only thing, what happens is, being in Chawl and that, there are no many mentors to you. Even I want to join defense force. Even today I see people want to join, but there are no one to guide, how to go, where to go.
Yeah.
Because there are various streams in armed forces. And trust me, armed forces is one of the best career options. But sad that there are hardly people to mentor you and tell you what to do. So I was also in that same state, but my goal was very, very clear to be in armed forces. So that's why...
So someone inspired you at that
So
time?
my mama, my mom's elder brother, he was in Indian Navy. He was he was a technical officer there. So that was one of the motivations because I happened to see Vikrant when I was very small. He had took me to Vikrant.
INS Vikrant.
INS Vikrant. So that was one of the biggest motivation. And used to see serial, Fauji, and I always used to believe that men in white, once you are in white, you look pretty handsome. So that was one of
That's true.
being a Sagian, so that motivation comes for you to look good and being in that limelight or whatever. So that was one of the biggest motivation. So in Standard 12th, I did clear my NDA exams, National Defence Academy. I had given IIT JEE, couldn't crack because, as I said, I couldn't afford the classes, so it was pretty bad. But NDA I could clear because I had got whole lot of notes and other thing. So when I was selected for the service selection board interview after 12, that was the time I landed in hospital because of jaundice and other thing. And then I couldn't attend the SSB interview.
Oh.
So there was no chance because they don't consider you the next time. The process has to happen. And for us, losing even 1 year that time was a big thing. Today, if you see kids, they are ready to sacrifice that 1 year for career.
Yeah, they don't mind.
In our time, when late 90s and all, early 90s and all, it was not at all an option, you have to move on with BSc or other thing. Plus the money, academics, you couldn't afford that time. So things happened. I was in engineering, as I said, that a friend showed me this paper and I was tracking what is the next. I was trying for CDSE. I knew that Combined Defence Service examination was around the corner. And then this ad happened to be the savior he showed me. And even dad was clear, one of you have to join armed forces. So
One of the three siblings.
One of the three siblings have to join armed forces. That was one of his desires. My second brother was the most,
Eligible.
shortlisted for that because he was having all those army thing in him. So he also did try, but couldn't get through because of the, I think, height issue and other thing. So when in 7th semester, I started preparing for these exams parallelly along with my engineering semester. And then, luck would have been, you had to write an essay on why you want to join, That was the first thing. So I wrote an essay, I got an interview call. And then while in my 7th semester, I was permitted to go for interview, which happened to be in Bangalore. Now, the service selection boards are one of the toughest interviews in India, like because it spans over a 5 days period. And what happens is first day when you go there, First day, you have some 400, 500 people coming, all of them who have got interview calls, and then they screen you out. They only keep 60 people, and rest of them have to go either same day back or
Out of 500.
out of 500, or same day back or the next day morning. So yeah, I was lucky to get through in that screening exam. I was in that 60, and then once you are in that, then you are there for next 5 days, and you have series of interviews. Like you have tests, you have you name it, you have that. You have public speaking, you have group task, you have individual word building, you have contemporary speaking and whatnot, and it ends with a personal interview. Now the beauty is you cannot bluff at any stage. In various stages of your interview, you have to be constant, because
Otherwise they'll catch
there are
you.
something called group GTOs, group task officers. They are trained for it, to identify people, and later towards I learned that they don't look for the top guys or the IIT aptitude type guys. They want someone who's got attitude, aptitude, and who's consistent throughout, because they expect from you is that you are going to be the leader. You are going to lead men, and this GTOs, all your phases are recorded, and if they see consistency from day 1 to day 5, how you mix up with people, and in your group task, what is the role of you as a leader, as a team man, all those things. And in the personal interview, they again screw you so badly. They ask so many questions, and there are psychologists who are observing you through a chamber, and 4 people interviewing you, and then your body language, everything. Though I was aware all this happens, but nobody can fake it in front of them. Even today,
Going through it is a different experience.
Even there are so many classes these days who will tell you what exactly happens. But then I strongly believe even today, after being there for 10 years and 10 years after that, nobody can fake the interviews there. So it has to be. So was lucky when the result was announced, when everyone used to be in bunch with all their bags and everything. That's the time they announced who all got selected. So today what we wear as runners bib, everyone used to get those bib numbers.
Bibs, yeah.
And then they used to come up with a list and say, okay, bib number so and so got selected. And then in our batch of 500 initially to 60, and then only 3 names were called. Eventually the first name happened to be my name.
Wow.
And then I was like, I couldn't believe, okay, because the first number happened to be mine, and 2 more, and then the rest all, that euphoria of everyone congratulating you and everyone saying you, okay, he's made through. And throughout, I was pretty happy and my happiness was that, okay, boss, you're getting a job, like that was the most needed thing of the hour. But it didn't end there. After that selection, you have to undergo 5 days of medical test, which is more challenging than this thing. Every aspect of your body is covered, right from head to toe, whatever you call.
Then the final selection happens.
And then the final merit list comes, because there are batches. There are so many batches which comes, and then the final merit list comes. So even if you're out of that merit list, you have to repeat everything next time to get through, and that's pretty traumatic. I had met few of the guys who were appearing for second or third time. I was seeing their passion of being there,
Wow.
So things happened. I cleared medical, and then the merit list came, and within no time, the joy of getting that letter in hand, report to Naval Academy, Goa for your training, and you will be a sub-lieutenant cadet that time. And yeah, so you landed on 4th January 1999 into Academy. 99, yeah.
Wow.
And that was...
That's a good 20 years.
So that first day was a euphoric feeling, you are there. And when you got that selection, and when I was still in my 7th semester, you have one more semester to pass, and everyone look up to you. So the day changed, everything changed. People, oh, he's the first one to get the job in this college. Because I was from the premium batch, the first batch of that college itself. So today when I go for alumni meet and all, I still command that respect. Even today, like I have, 2 weeks back I have been to college, so even the professors, everyone. So things changed for me that night, and salary that time was like 20,000 rupees, 1999, whereas my peers or my batchmates who later got job, they were getting 3,000, 4,000. Most of them moved into IT. Things are different, of course. 4-5 years, they all were earning 40, 50, 60,000. We were stuck still at that government pay. But yes, life changed from thereafter.
Nice. And this selection committee, you said it is pretty tough to crack, right? As earlier you told me when we met, Amitabh Bachchan has also been rejected from this.
Yes. In fact, there are series of celebrities who are there today have been rejected. So Amitabh had many time in his interview told that had I not been rejected at Allahabad SSB, so I would not have been the Amitabh Bachchan which I have been today.
Wow.
So you can imagine there is no hanky-panky there. Nothing, everything is merit. Everything is merit. So it's always a proud moment. Clearing the SSB is a big thing, So
Right. All right. So how was it when you first got into the academy, the initial days? Can you tell more about those training days?
Okay, so as I said, 4th January was the first day, and then you land into academy, and
Where were you placed, if you don't mind telling?
So it was in Goa, Naval Academy, Goa. Now the academy has moved to Kerala, one of those places in Kerala. So that when we joined, it was in Goa. And all those feeling of, all my family coming to drop me at railway station, to landing at Goa, and then moving in a military truck to the academy. And then the first day, all your world crashes when you join to academy, because you have those big hairs and stylish hair when you are engineering college 4th year, being the general secretary and blah blah blah, all those things. And first day when you reach academy, when you are mustered in the evening, the first thing they do is cut your hair. Like you are made absolutely zero cut, they call. You don't have anything, and being a Mallu, I'm not permitted to shave off my mustache. So that's a part of my family tradition, whatever you call.
So you didn't cut your mustache there?
No, I had to. There was no option.
Oh.
So they shave it off, everything. And then the first time, that night, you actually wear a night suit to sleep, I used to see in movies and films, okay, bande night suit pehen ke sote hain karke. So everything was part of that curriculum. And then the next day morning, if you have to venture out from your dormitory to the bathroom, you have to wear the bathing gown and all those, which I used to see in movies earlier, or Ashok Kumar and Pran, and all those big guys wearing etiquettes. So the academy days was totally different. First 1 month it was like where I am, and they give you first 2 weeks to see whether you can adjust. If not, you can go home. And post 2 weeks, there is no way you can go back.
No going back.
No going back. It's like they will come and pick you up from your home. You would have heard a lot of stories of,
Wow, is it?
That's 2 weeks they give you, and thereafter they won't. So right from discipline was pumped into you. They say if you deserve respect, then you have to get the respect, and if you don't get the respect, demand respect and command respect. That was the thing there. And then everything was time based, right from your getting up at something called there is a bugle which goes up at the morning 5 o'clock. You have to get. Then we were not used to getting up at 5 o'clock. Of course, today we are runners and all, so 5 o'clock is again
Not a big
body is
deal
used
now.
to it. That time it was not. And then you have a dormitory where 12 people used to be there, and it was told that this will be the people who would be more than your family till the time you die. They are called your coastmates. There's something called coastmates in armed forces. And trust me, though of course my family is very beautiful and my brothers are very loving and all, but these buggers are still like, they can land up anytime in your home, and they can command, demand, they can do anything even today. So that is the type of bonding which armed forces build, because their entire funda, they work is on the principle of when you are in war. So there happens to be either you when there is an enemy, so if your buddy gets hit, you have to save him first. So the entire principle, everything works on that. So that is what the academy teaches you. And just imagine you have everything timed. Your bathing time is timed, your breakfast is timed, your classes times are timed. You have some 8 to 10 minutes to bath, and then initially if you don't do that, so you get into something called the punishment mode. They have various lot of punishments there. So I still remember breakfast, bathing time used to be 7 minutes for 12 of us. And then
7 minutes for
7
12
minutes,
people.
12 of us initial day, and most of the time 4 of us used to bath together. So
Group bath.
And you never used to realize कि कौन किसको साबुन लगा रहा है. That is what the bonding we.
Wow.
So yeah, things change. Then the breakfast. Trust me, the first day of breakfast, first few days I couldn't have anything because you have to have so many cutleries there, fork, knife, spoon, and then you have to apply the butter in a particular spread in this thing. Direction was also defined. You cannot.
Wow.
go. And there were between 3 of us, there used to be a senior who used to sit, and he used to notice whether we are eating it properly with proper cutlery. And if you used to make any mistake, there used to be punishment on the table itself. There is something called, you cut a omelette and you do a round thing and put it in your mouth. So you have, again, as I said, it was a defined time for breakfast also. Many a time you ended up having a breakfast in front of you and not having full, So that was first month, and by the time you leave academy after 6 to 8 months, you are a champion. You know 5 minutes what all to do and what all can happen in 5 minutes.
Still, can you bath in like 5 minutes?
Yeah, I can even today. Sometimes like when you are late to office because of morning running training and all. So my wife, my mom suddenly see me getting into the bathroom, and by the time they realize I am back also, she will ask me, whether you actually nahaya kya tu? So that is your Navy days training which comes in,
But tell me one thing, you were in Navy, but these etiquettes and things which you are told in Navy, are they similar, if you have any idea, in Army and Air Force?
All academies work on that same principle, whether it's Navy, whether it's Army, whether it's Air Force. So basic fundas of training is same. Only your curriculum changes is when I go for a seamanship training or something. They go on a different. They go for a infantry training or artillery training or whatever. Their physical things are more in Army compared to Navy and Air Force. We are more into seamanship, water activities and other things. But the basic remains same. So even if I meet any of the Army guys, my senior, my junior, even Air Force guys, we all gel so fast, because our academy principles are very same.
The fundamentals
are same, and even 20 years after our service today, even I meet a senior of mine, when I come to know which batch equivalent, ND equivalent or NEC equivalent he is, so automatically it goes to him. And so if he's 2 course senior to me, I will call him today. Even today I'll call him sir. In fact, I would not have met him in life anywhere. But when I count, you are 90th NDA, so you are senior to me. Or if someone I meet, I'm 92nd NDA equivalent, so if he's 94th NDA equivalent, he will call me sir. So that goes by, it's an unwritten law, law and
the respect.
And the beauty you see, like 20 years after, still as someone who's 40 years after, still that chain of command or everything is followed even after retirement.
Wow.
So that's the beauty of armed forces.
And how was it? The training times, were they very demanding in Navy?
So training time, as I say, even today when I speak at a lot of places, I say that, Army, Navy or Air Force or the paramilitary training, anything, it makes you from a boy to a man, as simple as that. So similarly for my lady course-mates who were there, so we had some 12 lady course-mates. So everyone is at par, so there's no lady, no gents. You are officers, you are course mates and
All
everybody
equal.
all equal. So if you don't perform equally, you are not to be there. As simple as that. So initial days were very tough because you had parade training, you have PT training, you have so many seamanship training, then you had cross country, then suddenly at night you get called for nothing, you have punishment, and you have as you know, like you would have been very familiar with the white uniform, but there are so many uniforms. We have some number 10s we have, like blue and blue, working blue. Then there are ceremonial uniforms, then there are PTs uniforms, sports uniform, then there are winter uniforms, summer uniform, evening jackets.
Wow.
Then like when you get a liberty on Sunday to go out, you have some academy uniform. So the uniforms are huge, the number are huge. And then we used to make any mistake, even if you don't used to make mistake, if some of your batchmate used to make mistake, there used to be this bugle piped at some time, and entire academy has to come out, and without you knowing what is happening, you would be in punishment for no reasons, sometimes absolutely no reason. You will also don't know what's happening. And then there's an amazing punishment called patti parade. We call patti parade.
Patti parade.
Yeah. So that's like they give you 4, 5 or 6 minutes, and you have to change in. They will say, okay, number 10s. So you have to find out your number 10s, wear entire thing, and come back and report and stand in 7 minutes. So
wow.
Even you stand in a line, eight of you files. So if one of them is missing, the entire file get punishment,
The entire crew.
Yeah, so they will say, okay, number 10 now. Then suddenly they, okay, number 8A is, so you have to wear that white shorts and with all your, that robe, seamanship robe. And they torture you like anything. But towards the end of 6-8 months, you are champion in every, or you are smart. You start wearing shirt over shirt. Even then, there are people who keep checking your color of your socks, whether, if you're wearing a number 10, whether you're wearing a white socks inside. Okay, so if you wear anything wrong, you're on punishment.
Again punishment.
So life was pretty beautiful.
They try to break you.
They try to break you.
For good.
It's all part of training to make you mentally strong. Because I remember in Goa heat, sometime when you're coming back from your classes, which is at 1:30 when you leave, and then suddenly they announce a punishment on the road itself. And many a time they had given a punishment off shirt also, wherein you are absolutely in sun and you are rolling on the tar road,
Rolling on the tar road.
Tar road.
Oh my God.
Just imagine your back and all get literally scars and burnt all over. But it makes you mentally so strong, so that when you're out of academy, so you are a different person. You are a different person. So yeah, academy was tough. Academy has to be tough. So otherwise you are not tough.
So from a mediocrity, they make you into a class.
True. Everyone, I still remember so many of my batchmates. First day they came from various parts of India in various attire. Some looking damn good. Some was just on a sleeper and a bag. When they all passed out of academy in 6 months, they were a different people, actually taking care of their dress, their shoes, and the way they look, the way they stand, or the way they talk, all those things. And yeah, the best thing, and the best thing what Navy gave was, there's a tradition in Navy, when you pass out, it's called passing out parade. Mm-hmm. Probably that feeling of you getting a stripe, it's called the stripe ceremony, passing out parade ceremony. Probably there is no other feeling in the world other than that, because even every one of us cherish that moment, because it's like, even if you happen to see YouTube videos and all, you pass out from the deck, there is choppers flying over you, Dorniers and chopper, they shower the petals, and when you're passing out from the parade ground, you pass out, and then you're the best moment because you're going to get your stripes. And when you go towards mess, your parents or whoever is the most loud to you, they stand behind you, and on your uniform, ceremonial uniform with your stripes, what we call epaulette, both the parents stands mom stands towards the left side, your left is closer to your heart, and dad on the right side, and with the tone of band, they have to remove that this thing, and you get your officer, that sub-lieutenant's type is open, and they present you to the nation. Your parents present you to the nation.
You are finally handed over
To the nation, and from then on, you are the son of nation.
Wow.
So that feeling is so amazing. Probably no job in this world can have that feeling.
Can give you that.
Give that feeling.
Wow, that's an amazing story. So, after you made out of the academy, and what was your first salary? What you got
Okay.
from there?
So when we were in academy, we used to get a stipend. So that stipend itself was like 20,000 or something. Stipend was 20,000 way back, and 20,000 was huge money then. Yeah, and then we never used to get. We only used to get cash, some 6,000 rupees in academy, and rest all used to go into our account, so that when we come out of academy, you get a lump sum. So that 6,000 was raw, like you had that smell of that
Notes.
so that was the first time you get a salary actually. But as I said, during my engineering days, four of our friends, we used to run a classes in Bhandup here, a coaching class to support. All of us were engineers, and all of us were learning engineering. So we used to conduct tuitions for kids. So for pocket money. So pocket money point of view, I had started earning pretty early, and then I was also I'm a black belt Dan 2 karate. So I used to run karate classes long back to support my.
So it was the karate you learned before the academy?
Yeah, before the academy. That was in my school days, and then when I was in 11th, 12th and engineering, so I used to run karate classes. So only aim was to support that, your education and funding, because I have two brothers also to support. So being self-sufficient was always there earlier. So when I got that first salary in Navy, it was a huge salary, 20,000. Wow. So, so.
Where did you spend it?
So yeah, 6,000, they don't allow you to spend, the 6,000 rupees, they give it to you only for emergency. The rest of it used to get accumulated in bank.
Deposited in bank.
So they used to do itself. And only liberty you had to spend was, say, once in a month they used to let you to go out in Goa, where the academy was, and that to very restricted time and all. And you used to spend like anything. And the biggest spend for us was soft drinks, because we never used to get anything in academy. People used to gulp, gorge, and all those unhealthy foods, whatever. Because academy used to give you healthy foods,
Right.
and you were never used to healthy food. So yeah. So things changed, and then from Goa I moved to my first appointment was in a ship called INS Kirpan. Kripan, yeah. So the interesting story, as you're aware, that we were at war, famously known as Kargil War,
With Pakistan.
With Pakistan. That was in 1999. It was called Operation Bijay on a bigger scale. So Kargil was the main area where everything happened, So that's why it's remembered as Kargil War. So
it was the time of Vajpayee, I think, right?
Yeah, that's right. 99, I still remember 99. And then the prominent role, of course, there's no disputing about it. Army played a very, very major role. And then many of my batch equivalents, like what, we were 22, 23, and the army guys, lieutenants and all. So the infantry guys who were just out of academy like us, they were there leading their men there, because, we all are thought to be leader. When you are out of academy, you are just pushed into raw thing, and many of the young guys who martyred, who got Paramveer Chakra and all, they were like our batch equivalents and senior and all.
Wow. Just listening to it, I'm getting goosebumps.
So you should read this book by, there's a girl, daughter of Colonel Dwivedi. So she had written a book, Letters from Kargil.
I've heard about it.
If you ever get a chance to read that book, read that, because it gives you wonderful insight of what happened there and the bravery of our guys, officers and men and all. So that was the time I got my first appointment, and that was in a ship called INS Kirpan. Now, Kirpan, as you're aware, 1971, INS Kukri was the major when Navy attacked Pakistan. Kukri has its own story. So Kirpan is again a Kukri class of ship. So my other batchmate was posted in Kukri and I was in Kirpan. And then I still remember getting 2 weeks of leave and then me coming home, and I was told to join back ship immediately. And the ship was at Bombay. When you reported to ship, and then you could sense there is something serious happening. And that time we used to listen more about Kargil war and all. And then it was told that Navy is also into war, like Navy is preparing for, Navy is also ready, like what we read other day, that Navy, when such scenarios happen, all the wings of armed forces are prepared. So when I reported to that ship, I could see, okay, something is happening here.
Something is cooking.
And then my senior guy whom I reported there, he was a lieutenant, and I was a sub-lieutenant, and I was a junior most. No, there were a couple of midshipmen there. So then we were told, Captain met other day morning, when an officer joined, he has to formally meet Captain in his chamber. So when you met him, he said, okay guys, you know where you are, So for me it was new because, first ship appointment, and then he explaining, okay, you are in a warship which is going to be at the war. So I hope you had met your family amply. You had given your time. That's why you were sent on leave or whatever. So I still remember, oh shit. Okay, the first expression, oh shit. Oh, okay, I'll die. And then, as I said, whatever brave you are, that fear, everyone, that inch of fear is there in everyone. And fear, and like bravery is beautiful, fear is also beautiful. Fear, there are various emotions attached to that fear. When that fear happens first time, then you realize, okay, so many things I have not done. I could have said hello to him. But then again, entire things take over, that euphoria of going to war, and for what you have been in the Navy, for what you have been paid, and then you are getting a golden chance wherein generations have joined armed forces, they have not seen war or thing.
Yeah.
And nobody wants war, but then yes, if you are at it, you are at it. So we were considering ourselves lucky to be there. Okay, so you have joined your career, you are you are into something that people actually long for. So entire scenario in the ship was totally very motivated. But of course, there were when people used to be alone or silent, they used to be in deep thoughts and all, because many of my seniors were there, family and kids or grown-up kids or college-going kids or school-going kids. So I was a bachelor then. My wife was my girlfriend that time, and I used to know, and I still remember writing a long letter to her saying that I don't know whether I'll be back or not. So,
My God.
So when I read letter from Kargil, I remembered that letter which I wrote to her, and so we went off to the ship, casted off, and for obvious reason I cannot tell you where, but we were at a strategic location, and we were just waiting for the order from government to be ready and attack Pakistan or whatever. So hopefully, we were hopeful that things will come. What happened in 71, the way we attacked Karachi. So this time also we were hopeful that we would get the order. But then around that time, probably Pakistan retreated back in Kargil, and then Indian Army had captured most of the places, and then they declared the war to be end. So we were in that area of war operation area. And then ship came back thereafter. So by virtue of being in a war zone, being in a warship, and in that scenario, all of us who were part of that, you get to wear that Operation Bijay, which you call Kargil medal. So as I say, Army, Air Force had a major role, but you cannot underestimate the role of Navy. So proudly I wear that medal. The intensity of war which army would have faced is much higher, but still all of us get a chance to wear that medal.
Yeah.
So I proudly wear that medal, Operation Vijay Star and Operation Vijay medal.
Wow.
That's a. Then again, I got a chance when I was posted in Vishakhapatnam. Again, we were at a war about to be at war somewhere in 2003. So this time I was more into my basic. After doing my engineering, when I did my specialization in missiles and weapon controls.
Meanwhile, you did the specialization.
Yeah, so I was posted in a place called Kalinga in Vishakhapatnam, and after going through my marine specialization, I am from the controls corps, so instrumentation and control. So I happened to be in the electrical cadre of Navy. So I did my specialization in missiles and weapon controls, and then I was posted in Vishakhapatnam in a missile base. So you again got a chance to be a part of preparation. 2003. So that operation was called Operation Parakram. So you have to prepare your missiles, and so I was part of that. And again, I thought, okay, so within a span of 10 years in Navy, one active participation you got to see, and one almost active participation, which involved your technical skills and other things. So I wear a medal of Operation Parakram again. So within a span of 10 years, a lot of decorations, and I happened to get commendations from Chief of Naval Staff in 2006. That is when I was in Bombay, posted in Bombay Dockyard.
Bombay Dockyard?
Yeah, Naval Dockyard, Bombay. I happened to get 2 more commendations from Flag Officer in Chief, Western Naval Command, 2004, and 2003 I got from the Flag Officer Chief, Eastern Naval Command. So if you see my uniform, I'm pretty decorated in 10 years. And I do miss it because I always wanted to continue in Navy, but some circumstances I had to, say bye-bye or have to move on.
So what was that inflection point when you decided you need to move out now?
So when I decided, I'm a short service commission officer. As you know, there are permanent commission and short service. I'm from the short service commission cadre. Irrespective of that, it's 7 years, but then then you get an extension to 10 years and 14 years. So since I had done my specialization, I extended to 10 years. When I got a chance to enroll as permanent commission officer, my paper was through, everything was through. I was forced to, sign for permanent commission because I was doing pretty well in Navy, all these commendations and decorations. Somehow, even my bosses there said if I stay back in Navy, I would make it good, make it to a good rank if everything goes well. Because my, the annual confidential report and all was pretty well. But then there come a chance for a situation in life where you have to choose between your family and your career. And for me, that thing came because we are primarily from Bombay, born and brought up here. And, it's next rank, going to be commander and all, the transfers are pretty often in Navy, like 2 to 3 years. So one of the thing, me and my wife, when we did a SWOT analysis or this thing, because had I been a permanent commission officer initially, then I would not have had any chance. I would have had to continue. Being a short service commission officer, I had an option of moving out of 10 years. So we did a lot of analysis of and everything. And then the only thing which came was, it's a transferable job. So there is no permanent place for you. And she was also having a good career in IT. And then fortunately, unfortunately, even after 6 pay commission, substantially the cash in hand was not that great, but that never was a deterrent to me even today, I still miss those days. So we took a decision of moving out because we wanted to be in Bombay. We wanted to build our house here. Her parents are here. My parents are here. So somebody has to be there. They are also going to age. And so it was a very tough decision for me per se as an individual because I had lived Navy throughout, and then but nothing comes more than family. If we had decided, we had decided. And touch wood, I never regret that decision of leaving today. At the same time, I always feel that pinch, but I never regret, because whatever today I am, I'm in a much better position, and whatever corporate and running and blogging.
Yeah.
Probably this scenario, or my friends, the set of friends whom I have today, probably I would not have met all those beautiful things which is happening in life today.
Right.
It would have been in a different sphere. No regret, absolutely. But as I said, I do miss. I do pretty often visit my batchmates who are still continuing. Couple of them are there.
Till they are there.
Till they are there, and they are at senior rank, pretty senior rank. So I would have been a captain by now, this year, senior captain, had I continued. So yeah, that's a beautiful thing which happened.
So how was your transition from the defense life into the civilian life?
So transition to me was easy, to be very frank, because I being from Bombay, and my last appointment was in Naval Dockyard, Bombay, where you have to deal with civilians, so you are in charge. Naval Dockyard is one of the biggest shipyards in Bombay, in Asia, and then you have 10,000 workforce, and I was a center manager for a workforce of 300 people, from technical cadre, non-technical cadre.
At the dockyard.
At the dockyard. And they are not uniformed, I would say here, because once you are a uniform person, so you have to automatically obey your leader, your command. So for these people, they are not bound to,
It was more like a blue collar kind of.
This was more like a blue collared and unions and all. And the entire managerial skill had to be tested to get work done, and to take them along, to take union along. It was an entire new experience to me, because I being, in naval bases where everything was pretty structured. So yeah, I survived very well, because as I said, all my decorations came from naval dockyard work, and then I was there for a good number of years, probably one of the longest serving guys in naval dockyard, 5 years, because a couple of times my transfer did come, but the command didn't allow, because I was doing pretty well there. And the best part was being with those workforce, being able to speak fluent Marathi. The first day when my appointment came, being a Nair, and so someone coming posted from Visakhapatnam, and when I was posted in that center, nobody knew who I am. So there is a methodology, or there is a process of addressing people first day. And you can see a light murmur amongst people, okay, he's a South Indian, or we aa gaya karke. Skepticism, and that you build a thing around a person, okay, ye Malayali hoga, ya whoever, ye Madrasi hai, that's the common, ye kya karega, ye kai karna. And trust me, I started my speech in Marathi.
Wow.
That was the first time when I took the mic, I spoke in Marathi. And then the entire, I could see, still even today I could see the shock on the face of people, because predominantly everyone are Maharashtrians there, 80% are Maharashtrians,
Yeah.
and 20-25% from other places. So I could see the shock on everybody's face, and then I said that I am born and brought up in hardcore slum of Mumbai, so don't mess with me.
Wow.
And then trust me, that relation became so strong with people there. And they are, even today they are friends, most of them. Even today, after leaving that center close to 10 years plus, even today they call for their annual functions. Even today they call any doubt or anything which they get stuck up sometime, or if they want to share something personal, their family thing, a lot of them call back. That shows the bonding which you develop in 6 years. You had your ups and downs, and they were those people who were ready to, jump into sea at just one of your call. You say, okay, jump, so they will jump that way. Wow. These are the people who will actually take your ass if you, if they know that you are messing around with them. So you have to build that trust, and they are technically very, very strong. And many a times when ships and dry docks happen, these are the people who actually define things. They had lived engines, they have seen the generators, they have worked on that hands-on. Whoever the engineers are, you may be a tech guy, but you may be theoretically strong. But these are the people who
do
can
the things.
tell everything with the sound of the engine, the pattern of vibration, or they will tell, okay,
Wow.
there's something wrong. So getting those people into confidence and working with them,
Leading them.
their attire, with a boiler suit and messing with them. Many a time I used to mess with them. I used to go to their mess and sit, and they used to get shock of their life. How come an officer is dining with us? So that teaches you the technique of being a manager.
Right.
Being a good skilled manager and how to get work done. So today it becomes very easy when you are in a corporate,
In a corporate kind of environment.
white color things. Of course, you always miss those defense things. So there were 10 people, you have to say it works on a culture. So today, it's a pretty open culture, and but yes, you still command that respect amongst your peers today, being an ex-naval officer. So transition for me was not that difficult, but after Navy sends you for your transition MBA. So I did my MBA from Jamnalal Bajaj, Mumbai. So and then I also did a defense MBA from Narsi Monji. When I was about to leave Navy, and then it is for you to teach how to gel into civil life and everything. For me, it was pretty easy, and then I landed a job from there into a family-owned business. Rather, it was a Punjabi family. They were into pharma equipment, and it did give me a cultural shock because it was a family-owned business. And but yeah, I spent a good 1 year with them. They did respect me a lot, but I was never comfortable with the type of culture the work was. But I did. I was their project head, and then I later became vice president there. And then within 1 year, he wanted to make me CEO there, but then I had to move on because that's the time I got back to shipping. IRS in the current place where I'm working, Indian Registry of Shipping. So I moved practically at half the salary from Navy. I went here. I was having a very good salary, but health used to took a big toll because of traveling, multi-traveling. They had 3-4 companies everywhere, so I would travel. So I put on a lot of weight. From being a fit guy to my scale moved to 107.
Oh my
when
God.
I was there, because a whole lot of travel, outside food. Then I came to know that I am having hypothyroid, and then hypothyroid. My thyroid shot so badly that I was a huge guy. And then suddenly I was looking for a change of job, and this happened at a half salary, So I moved to IRS, Indian Registry of Shipping. And then again, this was more like my background of marine. So I started feeling comfortable. And the best thing was I used to get time for myself. I started getting some time. And one of those doctors at Fortis, then Wokard, he suggested me to get back to endurance, And someone was so fit to
Correcting course.
And then the journey started happening. So yes, coming back to your question, transition initially was difficult, but now it's beautiful, 10 years.
All that managerial
All
skills which
those
you developed
managerial
there,
skills,
you can
that
apply now.
You can apply now, actually. All those things which you read in MBA and all, it has to come into practice, Neither it just remains an MBA exercise.
Right.
So that's how.
So as you told, you were diagnosed with hypothyroid.
That's right.
So how did you course correct your health issues, and how did you get introduced to running?
Okay, so as I was saying that, from being a healthy being to what you call overweight, something like looking like a potato, like 107 kgs.
Wow,
was
that's
not
massive.
a joke. But then constantly I was ignoring it, and to me the biggest thing was I was one of the fittest when I was in Navy, after being in academy, and for pretty certain time till the time I was in Naval Dockyard, when the work actually caught up. Pretty hectic schedule of work, erratic work, being in the industrial setup, and then traveling. I used to stay at Mulund, so Navy has given me that liberty of staying at home. And then it used to be like 14, 15 hours in a day. You used to only do work and commute, and very hardly I used to get time. So I could see the deterioration of health had started towards the end of 2006, 2007. I could gradually feel the girth increasing, and your waist size going from 32 to 34, within no time 36. Then one day, you happen to go to lifestyle, even 36 doesn't fit you, 38.
Oh my God.
Went to 42, huge. So then there was this time when my daughter was born in 2006, and then then something happened. Someone asked me why this is happening. So I said, okay, probably I'm about to leave Navy, and a lot of parties those days, but that all was an excuse. And then for an annual medical, when I went to Naval Hospital Ashwini, there I realized, when the blood was taken, doctor asked me, do you have thyroid? I said, no, I'm not aware. Then he said, okay, I think you have thyroid. And that was my annual medical towards my release from Navy. And then when I got released from Navy, the first thing, again, 1 year passed on, and I didn't do anything. As I said, I was with a family-oriented, business-oriented company. A lot of traveling, so the weight kept on adding. And then I was told to meet a doctor at Fortis, Vocat rather. His name was Dr. Sudhindra Kulkarni. I still remember, I still consult him. And that's how the first tryst with endurance happened. So when he looked at my report, he said, boss, it's something very drastic and something I've not seen in many days, such sort of dangerous thyroid level, what you call. And then I was put on medication of L-throxine. Along with the medication, I was told to restart walking. He said, okay, forget running, you have to walk or swim. So thereafter began the journey of getting back to walking, and someone who used to be very fit, someone who had run camps in academy, and then that camps used to be like, it used to be a distance of some 80 plus kilometer. In certain time you have to finish your camps in academy. So for a person like that, you have to restart walking again. And this journey started from, say, 1 kilometer. Even 1 kilometer was tough, 400 meters of walking, some running, some walking. And days, weeks, months. Then you started from 1 kilometers, you moved on to say 5 kilometers. And then the journey was beautiful because there was a gym close by, Gold Gyms in Mulund. And there were not many people who used to run on road. So that's when I started running on road. And then within no time I could do my first 10 kilometers. And the best thing was I started losing weight, and then there was some controlled food habits along with the medication, and then running. I got hooked on to running, and that was the time when running was growing up as a sports in India and Bombay. And we were lucky, few of the, you can say, earlier runners in Mumbai. And that was also the advent of social media, Facebook, and had just started. So we were on a platform called Runners for Life initially. And
so it was a website, or something?
It was a website.
Okay.
Even today, they were the earlier, sort of a company from Bangalore
to promote running.
They got us together, most of us across India, and very few people used to run. And today you see in lakhs and lakhs. That time it was in numbers. Even today we runners as a very minuscule population in spite of so many people running. So the journey was beautiful from 0 kilometer, from 107. The weight came to 100. Then so then 3 figures, so you come into 90s. Then 92, 93, whatever. And then you got stagnant at some place again and come back. And today, as I sit in front of you, I weigh 83 today. The journey has been beautiful. And because of thyroid, many a time it remains static. if you stop your workouts or things like that, again the weight fluctuates. So in one thing, it is a blessing in disguise, because that's why I started running.
And you have to keep on doing
Keep on
it now.
running it, and even I've been giving this interview to you more of as a runner. So even the interview is happening because I'm a runner, so I would not have come to know you.
Yeah.
So thanks to thyroid, you always see a positive side of things, and I'm happy that it took me to this level today.
And now you're going to do Comrades as well, the Comrades race
right.
in South Africa.
South Africa. So
when is it planned to?
So Comrades is on June 9th, 2019 rather. So as you said, it's 89-kilometer run, and it's in South Africa, and the route is like multiple hills, and it's a very prestigious race. It's doable race, of course, with hell lot of training, so for a person like me, I come in a slow runners. I term myself as slow runner, and for me, I was only dreaming Comrades when I used to see Satish Gujaran, and someday I had a dream. Okay, I'll do. So
Satish Gujaran is
he's the god of running, I would say. Like, he's doing his 10th Comrades this year.
10th Comrades.
10th Comrades.
Wow.
And he's there as a mentor to me anytime you have. And then when I expressed my desire this year to run, so wife was very supportive. At the same time, with the promise that only this year, because Comrades take a lot of time of your personal time and training time. And I've been training for it for last, the foundation building have been started from last 1 year plus, and today I'm into my peak of training of Comrades, 2 months into Comrades. Already, as I was saying, 67 days and 725 kilometers already done.
Wow, that's
many
huge mileage.
And trust me, like earlier, even running of 42 kilometers used to cut off at 30. But today at this stage, touch wood, when I do a 65 or a 45 or a 50, a mind has been conditioned. So as I said, it's all mind commands, like body just follows.
Right.
So I'm sure 2 more months of training, and I'm very positive, and hopefully there's no word called hopefully, very positive of finishing it and crossing the finish line. I'm already visualizing, and touch wood, with all the blessings and with all the hard work and training, with everyone being there, backing you, with good mentors around, with my coach Viv Menon giving the plan, and
Viv Menon.
Yeah, Viv is my coach.
Okay.
And lot of people supporting, and on the social media, a lot of people follow my training, what I'm doing. So it's a story of an ordinary runner attempting something big, so the best part for me, the race day crossing would be definitely a significant thing in my life, but training towards it is something very prestigious to me.
The process
is more, and I enjoyed the process, and I know that I will cross the finish line of Comrades.
Yeah.
So that's
with the flag on your chest.
With the flag on your chest. Flag is always very, 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 prestigious to me, and it's like a very sacred thing.
Right.
And I'm very vocal about it, and I wear flag on my everything, So being a Fauji or whatever.
All right. Okay, so moving away a little from running, going back to your after you finished your naval career. Meanwhile, how were you doing investments? I mean, to point out the money part, is there any process you put yourself into to invest certain amount or at some places so you can lead a better life later on?
Definitely, yes. So to me, I'm lucky that my partner, my wife, she's able finance person, and her articles have come in Economics Times and other things. So yes, so with both of her salaries, all planning is done. Planning is pretty strong, and I believed in early investments, correct investments. When I was a bachelor, that was the time I'd invested in my first house at Mulund. You have a feel of that place, and of course, when she was my girlfriend, that was the time she also advised that we need to buy a house in such and such locality, and we bought our first house way back, and today that house which was 10 lakh rupees, today it's appreciated to 2 crores or something within a span of say 19 years. And plus a lot of other investment, whether you say it's a mutual fund or whether it's equity or whether it's some term plan. So we are pretty planned out our thing, and now since daughter, she's growing up, we have planned her education, the funding required. So yeah, so we are pretty well planned family that way. And all of us, we need to definitely plan for your investment. Investment has to be parked at right place. Apart from keeping your hobbies and everything, this is a must thing,
Yeah.
So
Money should be flowing.
And at some point of time, you should be EMI free so that you can pursue your hobby. It should not be a deterrent to pursue your hobby. Else you keep on working 9 to 5 and
Following the rat race.
One day you will die also, so you will not realize.
Yeah.
So my advice to youngsters would be that very important to plan your thing, and you can't just live like a hippie on daily basis, So
Plan your finances.
plan your finances.
Right. All right. So moving on, can you tell a little bit more about your current career which you are pursuing and the passions which you are trying to pursue on the side?
Okay, so running still stands on priority because this passion is linked to my health.
Lifesaver.
Lifesaver. To me, it's a lifesaver. Till death, it will be a lifesaver. So I'll have to move into running, cycling, swimming, whatever. Other than that, as you're aware, I have moved after Navy. Now I am an associate vice president with the National Maritime Classification Society of India. So I head one of the promoted companies called Air Class Systems and Solutions Private Limited. I head their compliance, quality, training, risk and all. So there are 3 more subsidiary companies who report to me for all these functions. And very interesting role, have spent a lot of time in this role in various aspects. I used to head the marine division, quality and other thing earlier. So it's a whole dimensional, technically very satisfying and enriching. And the concepts you learn in quality management system, you can apply it into your daily life, whether it's running. And you also take back your running into your corporate life, because whenever I speak at various places, I do give the examples of 21 kilometers and 21 principles of life, and vice versa, quality management system and into your running. So job has been pretty satisfying, and being at the senior position, you have a lot of guys reporting to you, so even nurturing them, managing the talent, and in that process you also learn. So learning never ends, as I said. And yes, when in the corporate role, I'm pretty dynamic and a lot of people look up to me. So to merge passion and you have to find time out, because it's a rat race, like you go traffic, 3 hours traffic, morning, evening together 3 hours because of metro and other thing, and then work of say 10 hours or whatever. You have to find your time, So, and to me, having a passion is a must, whether it's running, music, cycling, anything, reading. It keeps you alive, Otherwise, it's just a rut routine life.
Right.
So
it's keep the life interesting.
It keeps the life interesting, So you wait for those weekends and small moments.
Yeah.
And moving on to this passion part, as I said earlier, you created this series on Facebook called They Inspire, where you were profiling common runners.
True.
So you turned it into a book. So can you talk more about that book and how that opportunity arrived, and how did you capitalize on that opportunity and moved into that direction?
Okay, so when I was, when I started into Facebook, and when this community was growing of running, and a lot of friends got added, it built over a time. And then I used to write, like I was good at writing short humors and technical articles during my Navy days. So writing was always there. Being creative is a God gift, of course. So I started writing on people, because I used to see in running community there are so many inspirational people where you can derive stories. Why to go outside? Because to a Sachin Tendulkar or a Yuvraj, they are icons. There's no doubt about it. Their stories are pretty inspiring. But then when you see the common people, there are stories. So one such person I first wrote about was Mumtaz Qureshi. He's a runner, and he runs for himself. And then I said, when the social media became very powerful, this guy went into oblivion. I said, okay, no, I have to write his story. Let me try. So that name pretty came randomly as a title, They Inspire. And I wrote the first snippet or the interview pattern on Facebook. And to my surprise, by the time I posted at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the evening, and when morning when I was checking my phone, it was like some 200 likes or something. And I was like, oh, wow. That time also, never, your profile pic also don't get that much of attention. That is the time I realized that people need inspiration, and that to live inspiration.
Yeah.
And even today, everyone wants inspiration, and so our world is so busy. We always look inspiration in each other, and that's how the series started. So I used to write weekly or fortnightly about one person, and then God started building up, and some weeks I used to miss, and I used to get messages, where are the stories? So I said, oh wow, so people are following it up. And then series happened, and then midway somewhere around like 35, I think 36 stories, that's when I met Crossword. Someone introduced to them, and then they said the concept is pretty unique, and they have this publishing house called The Right Place under them, and they promote the first time author. And my book, my contents are solid for a good book, because running doesn't have Indian authors much books, only a couple of them. And then this would be a unique story, combination of, so that's how the theme started working. And then we said, okay, so 42 people, so that means 42 kilometers of full marathon. So so I said, okay, 42.2, so point 2 will be your introduction as a author, and point 2 means in comparison to all 42, your story is minuscule, so you have to put it at end as an author. So all those things started working around, and then I started. One of the dream, of course, was to be an author, because someday, though I was not knowing the process of being an author, so that's how the Crossword gave a big help and support. And everything has a story. The cover, if you see, has hashtag They Inspire.
Yeah.
Hashtag is because it happened on social media. That's why probably first book with the title, first book anywhere with the title hashtag. And They Inspire, even if you see when the book cover, INS is capital. So
INS, yeah.
Indian Naval Services Ground. The book has a shoe background, Adidas. That was the time I used to represent Adidas as a brand. And then, the whole load of stories happened. So 2016, that book was released, and even today it sells. It has sold more than 3,000 copies.
Wow.
So the second edition is in pipeline. So touch wood, by this year and it would be out.
Wow. So you're doing the second part of the book?
Second part is already ready.
Okay.
There's a story of another 42 lovely people across India.
Wow.
So
it's called They Inspired 2 or something?
No, so the name we are just contemplating, in discussion. But the script and things are pretty ready. So by year end, you will see the release of this second edition.
Wow.
Then there are my blogs, combination of my humor and called running humor. So there is that third book on that being worked out, more or less about my articles of so many years. So interesting, 3 in the running cadre, and then there I'll shift to stories and other things.
Right.
So,
And comedy and something
yeah,
like
that's
that.
right. My strong point is humor.
Yeah.
So most of my writings I work around that.
Yeah.
So I always try to make a point through my writing. So being in this space for pretty long. So looking forward to it for my second and third book. And thanks to running, as I said, I am here talking to you. Then I am an author, vlogger. So many people are good friends. They follow. I follow them.
The common thread is running
That's
across.
Right. That's right.
Nice. All right. And moving forward, what do you think about having a side gig or a passion, and why that is important for anyone?
Passion is very important. Even today, when I do a lot of motivational speaking in schools, corporates, everywhere. So passion is one thing which you look forward, like otherwise my life is that, like it's 24 hours, you get up, you go to office, come back, and then you have routine stuff to do. So if you have a passion, you have something that extra to look forward, and that keeps you, as I say, that keeps you alive. So not necessarily running or cycling or swimming, you can choose any passion, and then that passion has not to be only for namesake, it has to give you that drive and pleasure or desire or whatever you call. So if you find a right mojo in that is your passion. Some people find passion in writing, some reading, some music, so many things, trekking and other things. So I advise each and everyone, even kids, when I say, whatever you do, have one passion, So today's generation kids are lucky. You have so much of options. Parents are open. Our time and all, we didn't have that much of choice. Only when we are into late 30s and all, you got something that way. So yeah, passion drives you. Passion drives your life. Live that passion.
So how do you balance this passion and your professional life and family life? How is that going on?
This is a very apt question because initial days when running started, first 2-3 years, you were only into running. You were eating, breathing, sleeping, running. But at that time, initially everyone was pretty happy. Okay, you are a marathoner and all, your family was happy. But things started changing drastically when you started missing your family function for a Sunday morning run. And then you realize, okay, boss, now there's something called balancing your passion. So it is very important to balance that 3 spheres of your life, your family, profession, and your passion. Even first 2 are pretty important, family and professional life. Passion is, of course, you always give it the third priority, but it is equally important. So you have to play and juggle around that 3 things in your life. Even if one thing goes up and down, things will change for you. So you have to balance it. And the act of balancing is only when you are into it, you learn the act of balancing. So I can't run, and I ignore my profession and my family. And I can't be 24 hours working and you ignore your passion and family. And I cannot be full time with your family and ignore everything, So it has to be a balance of 3. So these are the 3 important pillars of your life: family, profession, and your passion. Everything has to go hand in hand.
Yeah, that's right. And as you do public speaking as well, how did you get into that? Initially, as you were a leader in the dockyard as well, you were managing a lot of people under you. So I think the public speaking started from there, but you moved on to something like you are now doing gigs on public speaking, right?
That's right.
So how did you get that opportunity?
So as I said, the public speaking, the first thing was nurtured during the engineering college days, being on stage as a general secretary or whatever. That was very little time, but the real thing happened in as I said, Navy nurtures you to speak and others. So every naval officer, every armed forces officer, at any point of time, you allow him to speak. He can speak on various subjects without any stage fear. Dockyard was a game changer for me when you have to address so many people. So many people look up to you. Each of your words are, listened carefully, and each of your word is interpreted differently. So that was the time when every day you have to speak to address people or on a various this thing. So humor played a big role there to give some serious issues with humor. So that is, I realized people don't like to hear serious things. But if you mix humor with a tinge of humor, they will remain, they will laugh, they will smile, and then they will remember, okay, he had to convey this point. So moving on, when I shifted from Navy and then running happened, weight, and when that weight change happened, weight loss happened. So a lot of people started, and when I started writing, a lot of people started inviting me to speak on, the transformation. So initial few talks were about your own transformation, and then the topics moved to my book, They Inspire. And then thing came about the Fauji life. So most of my talks are interwoven to all these three things: my book, my Fauji days, and my that transition phase. So I have spoken in a lot of corporates, and you mix up with the fundamentals of those things into this thing into those, and corporate into this, and it just happened. And all my talks are impromptu. I don't prepare for my talk. I knew, okay, I just asked, what is the crowd? Okay, which is the level of crowd? Okay, so I've spoken to CEOs, I've spoken to the smallest of the kids, spoken to every level of executives. So when I speak in their language. I mix Hindi, English, Marathi, Malayalam, whatever. If I speak to someone who's at that blue-collared level in hi-fi English, they will not even stand you.
Right.
At the same time, if I speak to CEOs in a level which is for them, so they won't appreciate it.
Right.
So over the 3-4 years, I've given some 60-70 talks.
Wow.
And each one has been appreciated. You get a lot of feedback. I also anchor shows and all, in my office. And
Yeah, the annual show of MRR,
shows of
Mumbai
MRR
Runners,
and all.
right?
So a lot of things, a lot of humor, and I plan to do a stand-up someday. All those things.
The next level.
Next level.
Oh, awesome. And what is your creative process when you're writing? Do you have any specific rituals or any specific time of the day when you write? And how do you get the ideas?
Okay, so my inspiration is Johnny Lever,
Johnny Lever,
so
the comedian.
So I've been following him from pretty long. Even very recently, I saw a show of his. He's very creative because I've been following. He say observe, for a person to write, and it's all observation. So you may observe the same thing. So, but if I observe in a very different way. Like in running also, when I write an article, I see, okay, what, and I write for people, when I write, okay, if I write this way, what will I get a response, or what would be, will they smile, that is my funda. And my writing happen at any point of time. Whether most of the writing thinking happen when I'm driving towards office or coming back from office. That is the time
when something monotonous is happening and you have the mind.
True. And the best part is, if I think about it, I have to write about it immediately after going on a notepad on my mobile or anywhere, or if I'm with my friend from Gauss, so they know that if I'm writing or scrolling something, they say, okay, some creative thing has stuck him. So most of my writings, blogs, which have been some small writings, which have been shared some 100-200 times by people, they have just happened in a flash of 4 minutes or something. I just wrote down. And I don't believe in checking in grammar and all. So everything is instant. Even my daughter points out at certain time, points out at my grammar, saying, Papa, this is not correct. Okay, forget it. As long as people understand,
As long as you can connect to people.
Correct.
That matters.
Correct.
And coming to the routines and habits of yours, so how does your typical day look like?
So typical day, it starts pretty early, as early as 5 o'clock these days, and then you have your pre-run thing, because I run a whole lot of mileage these days, so I have a very planned day. Then I go for my run. Run is minimum is 10 kilometers to 20-30. Even on a working day, 10 is minimum. So come back, I'm very strong on nutrition. You have to take care because of comrades. And then you move to office with all those traffic. So most of my talks, pre-talks of office, a lot of people give feedback about the day on phone when I'm driving. Once you reach office, so it's the office so I take a very short lunch, and then whatever time I get, I write in that. So I spent about 20 minutes writing things.
That's interesting.
And then after, while coming back from office, typically 6:37, so you have a lot of things playing around. Once I reach home, sometimes I do take studies for my daughter. Sometimes if they are busy, wife and daughter, so again you get some time to write. Some days are gym evening, some days are evening runs also. So pretty balanced life, and I get a sleep of 6 maximum 6 hours, 6 to 6:30 hours. But that's fine with me. My body recovers in that time. And then week Monday I take off from all this running business and all, of course. And Saturday, Sundays are my leave from office, balancing my time with family and other things.
Okay.
So far so good.
And like, as being a runner, do you do any specific exercises as well? Like, as you mentioned, you do include
I do.
gym.
I include swimming a lot these days.
Swimming.
That's one of the best recovery thing. And I do strength training, but I need to do more. But because of this hectic comrade training, I'm not able to devote much time into strength training. But I try to, have 2 sessions at least
A
week. So overall, because of this comrades training, things are pretty tough. Otherwise, I'm sure after June, again, it would be balanced out equally. Swimming has become a integral part of my training.
So do you plan to do any
triathlon? So like
kind of
everyone, so once you finish your comrades, so next year, the next goal is a triathlon, of course.
Right.
So I've been cycling. I did a duathlon recently.
Yeah.
So you have to keep changing your goal in this to
and
be
keep it
motivated.
interesting.
And keep it interesting,
And how does your nutrition planning goes in between all of this?
So nutrition, I'm thankful to Fasten Up India. They are my sponsors. They support my nutrition from last 4 years.
4 years.
Last 4 years from the time they launched. So pre-run, post-run, things are there. BCAA, and I do consult my friends who are hardcore dietitians and nutritionists. So a lot of balancing of protein and carbohydrates and things. Nutrition is pretty well taken care of.
All right. And you follow any mindfulness practices as well, like any meditation practice?
To be very frank, meditation I do once in a week. That's it.
All right.
And to me, meditation again is my sleep. I try to catch up my sleep whenever I get time. So I love listening to music. So that is the only time when I go to office.
So that's kind of meditative.
That's a meditation. And running, of course, is my meditation.
Running is the major meditation.
I would say running is meditation in motion, rather.
Yeah, meditation in motion. Yeah, amazing. And moving forward, can you name a person who has had a big impact on your life, or maybe someone who has been a mentor to you?
See, my set of friends, as we are sitting in this office, Reggie is a very good friend. So we have a group of friends. We call ourselves Gangs of Sonapur.
Gangs of Sonapur.
So we are like 10 of us, and our families are also very, very well closely knitted. So they are there every time. We are very close friends. All of us are good runners, and then each one of them motivate you in a different way. And of course, to all of us, there is one mentor, Satish Gujran. We say him as God of running, and he himself is an icon. His story is there in my book, They Inspire. He's doing his 10th comrades this year. So he's there at any point of time whenever you need him. So this comrades, he's like a life coach for you. Of course, I have my coach Viv, who plans for me, and a lot of friends in running community. Each one of them are there. So many of them, in fact. You just need to pick up phone and, to us, Satish definitely is one mentor whom you fall back whenever you need. And of course, this guy is. And at home, wife is our biggest support. Because without her support, comrades would not have been possible. Even comrades training would not have been possible. So yes, you need a bunch of guys to be there with you always. There's Babu, who's there as my first running partner. He's there with me for most of my comrade runs. And all of them, in fact. Bobby is there, who supports, PC, Reggie, and Murli, Pankuri, Abhijit, so many of them.
Amazing. So you get pieces from different
That's right,
people of your
that's
life, right?
They keep the humor intact and everything, you know.
And what do you think about the social media and how does it impact your work and life in present moment?
See, social media is a very important pillar these days. You know, there is no running away from it. Whatever I am today, you know, like a lot of people know, a lot of people follow. So it's because of social media, of course. And then you have to be very careful on the social media. You get what you write, you know, you have to think before 10 times what you are writing. And then you can't get into argument. At the same time, you can't spend a whole lot of time also there. So, irrespective of anything, social media is one of the biggest pillars of today's, generation or today's scenario. You can't be away from it.
Yeah.
And you have to be into it with proper due diligence, you know.
Right.
So,
Balanced.
balance. And as I said, I'm an author more on social media. Because of social media, the book happened. So, I have learned a lot from social media, what to do, what not to do, the etiquettes there. So yes, social media is a very important parameter in today's thing.
And what tools do you use every day? What kind of phone you are using and what kind of apps do you use on everyday basis?
So Garmin is my watch, and I have a Garmin Connect app for all my running histories and, you know, running schedules and everything. And I use extensively. My phone is Samsung Galaxy 9 because I write. It's a pretty big phone, 9 Plus. And Note is one thing which I use extensively to write, blog, and other thing. And of course, there are per se fitness app and all. Garmin is the only thing. Garmin Connect is the app and which I, you know, rely on.
Majorly
other than
used.
the Facebook and all those
Yeah.
stuffs, you know. Phone plays an important parameter.
What advice would you give to your own younger self?
Definitely, if I were to, you know, go back in time, I would have started being into this sports, you know, triathlon and other thing pretty early. And I would have done some wise investment, though we have invested pretty well. There would have been some wise investment somewhere. And looking back, absolutely, there has been no regret per se because everything was pretty well planned. Only thing was whatever happened in between, that weight gaining issue, probably that won't happen if I go back again. That was the toughest phase. So yeah, I was a pretty disciplined guy, so things were pretty. So there's nothing much more which I could have done. You know?
Yeah, already decent.
Decent.
Yeah. And another fun question I have, what under 5,000 rupees purchase you have made recently which changed your life in a better way?
Under 5,000 bucks. Okay. The most beautiful thing I purchased was swimming accessories. The swimming stuff, you know, like all those drill pads and other things, because that really helped me for my swimming. And I started loving swimming. Navy mein tha, so it was like more
of a
it was
job.
a routine and a job you have to finish. So yeah, I did a good purchase of all this stuff from Decathlon, and so that is the one recent purchase under 5,000, you could say.
Nice. All right. And any book you would like to recommend to the audience which changed your life in some way?
So, book, I am an avid reader, as you are aware.
By the way, you also
We
run a book
also
club, right?
run a book club called
Yeah.
Did You Read Today? Me and Reggie, we both are the founder members of that.
Wow.
We have some 4,000 members plus. We have monthly meets and all. So 2 books which I would recommend. If you're a runner, I would recommend a book called Born to Run by Christopher McCandless, I think. And that's a book, interesting book. And then the second book I would recommend you is to read a book called Letter from Kargil.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
I mentioned that because you need to know about your soldiers and what they have went through. Third book I would recommend is a very book called Being Mortal by Atul Gawande. That book is about life, the mortality, the death, and how you pursue.
Yeah, Atul Gawande has another interesting book called the Checklist Manifesto.
That's right.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
I've read
And my
that.
favorite all-time book is When Breath Becomes Air. This
Wow.
book is about Paul Kalanidhi. He was a cancer surgeon himself, and then he got himself. He was detected with cancer, and how he dies, and that's a beautiful memoir. That book makes you cry. So these 4 books are all-time favorite, and there are many more books, of course.
Right. Okay, and what does failure mean to you? What is your biggest or rather favorite failure till now?
As APJ Kalam says, success stories are theirs. There are success, but you should learn from success stories. But you will learn more from the failure stories. So I that words are strongly etched into my this thing. Failure, yes, many times. When I ran my first full marathon, that was a major failure. So some 6 hours, 30 minutes or something. So that again got a chance to do a analysis of, do a plan, do check analysis of yourself, and then how I could have done better at that stage. So that is a very constant process even today. So that failure had made me what I am today. It made you into a better runner, or if you're only considering running as an aspect. But failure keeps on happening, in your work and other things. A lot of things you plan, but it doesn't work, and then how you go back and correct it. Probably you would have done this way. So with success comes failure, and with failure comes success. Both are an integral part, an interwoven part rather. So never be afraid of failure.
Great advice. And any parting words to my audience?
Parting word, I would say, believe in yourself. Even when we were I was in armed forces, that was the punchline. Believe in yourself, because every person is different. You are your own competition. God has made all of us differently. All of us are special. Each one of us have some or the other plus or the negatives. Compete against yourself. Keep a benchmark, definitely. Keep a ideal, someone as your ideal where you want to see yourself, and keep a passion, which is very important. I was saying throughout, and be positive. That is the final thing I would say. Never let negativity creep into it. Be positive. Visualize you are successful, and let your subconscious mind work towards it. Because if you think negative, your conscious mind will also move to negative, and your subconscious mind automatically start dwelling into negatives.
Infestation.
Yeah, that's right. So visualization of being positive is very important. So this is my advice to all the audience who will be listening to it.
Yeah.
So believe in yourself and be positive.
Awesome. It was great talking to you, Bijay. And where can people reach you? Online.
Thanks Himanshu, first of all, for having this long interview, and it was pretty interesting. So to reach out to me, I'm there on Facebook as Bijay Nair, which I serve, on Instagram as Bijay Nair, and my website is there, www.bijaynair.com, where I blog most of my blogs. And you can of course reach to me on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and things like that. So I would definitely respond to you if you want to connect to me.
All right. So all of the good stuff and the links which you mentioned, I'll put all of these in the show notes of this podcast episode. And thanks, Vijay, for making the time for this interesting and wonderful conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Himanshu. Thank you, Himanshu, for having a wonderful interview and getting back to from my childhood days to what I am today. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is Himanshu again. Now, before you move on, here's something I want to share with you. I have one weekly newsletter which is called Saturday Pentacle. You can think of it as a weekly one-page magazine for the curious minds where you'll find 5 awesome things which I've been pondering on in the last week. It may contain popular articles, blogs, photographs, Instagram posts, books, videos, products, or thoughts. It's completely free. If you want to get it, just go to himanshusachdeva.com. That's my name, himanshusachdeva.com, and drop in your email. You'll get the very next one. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for listening.